since we have introduced what kind of options US President Donald Trump has with the US and Iran tensions escalating, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has defiantly dismissed US President Trump's threats, declaring that 47 years of American pressure have failed to topple the regime and won't succeed now as well. With 2 US carrier strike groups in the region, Khamenei has warned of a regional war if attacked, boasting that Iran could sink American ships and slap the world's strongest army so hard it can't recover. He ruled out concessions on uranium enrichment or missiles as indirect talks resume on Thursday in Geneva. Amid reports of US plans targeting him personally, Khamenei has vowed martyrdom over capitulation. Now, as the standoff continues, let's also take a look at the options that are available before Khamenei, because this is something that we should also understand. If US has some option, even Iran has some options before it. So let's look at the option number 1 before Iran. Preemptive strikes on the US bases across the Middle East. Remember that US has a massive number of bases across the Middle East. They are planning to, in fact, vacate most of them, but this is something that Iran can do, a preemptive strike on any of those bases. Option number 2. You have a preemptive strike on US Armada in the Middle East. So, we already know that a lot of US naval force and fleet is now present in the Middle East, along with 2 carrier strike groups in the region, an entire armada with destroyers, frigates, aircrafts, everything is there. So, they can do a preemptive strike over there as well. Let's also look at option number 3. Seek mediation via Oman, Qatar or other Middle East countries. So, they can seek mediation via other Middle East countries like Oman and Qatar. We are already seeing that indirect talks are being held. They were first held in Muscat with the mediation of Oman, and now they will be held in Geneva. So, that's option number 3 before Khamenei. This is what we are looking at. They can go for mediation or they can go for preemptive strikes. Let's look at option number 4 before Khamenei, which is to wait out for Trump's attack and fight prolonged battle via Russia-China support. So, this is option number 4, obviously something that Iran will be looking at. If they wait it out, they wait for US to in fact attack and then look for a prolonged war with the support of Russia and China. Let's in fact also rope in Major General Anuj Mathur, who is with us on the broadcast, to understand this perspective as well. Sir, like Major General Kocher also has been pointed out, he sees war as a 50-50 situation right now. What, as per your observation, can be the situation of this escalating tension between these 2 nations, sir?
Jai Hind, Shivani. One thing I would like to make it clear, that this escalation is serious. You know, never in the recent past so much of firepower and so much of maritime power has been amassed against any country in the world by the United States. So it is real and it is serious. 1. 2, the options we discussed, there are 2 more things. One player who's going to be the major player in taking a call on what will happen eventually is Israel. And Israel's concern is not the nuclear issue alone. Israel's concern, more than that, is the missile development program, and Iran assuming so much of AI-enabled missile drone power that it can threaten existentially the Israelis. So that is a bigger issue. So what we need to see, the causes of impasse, nuclear is one. While the Iranians have said that they are willing to mute it, but they're definitely not willing to abandon it. No way. It's a second thing they have made it very clear is the missile program. And they've said it is non-starter, not negotiable, full stop. So if that be the case, and the third one, which probably they're looking at, is that they should stop funding and arming the proxies. the Hezbollahs, the Hamases, the Houthis, and the like. That also is not acceptable to them. See, Shivani, when the desired end states of both the parties involved are so extremely opposing each other, there is very little likelihood of any negotiated diplomatic solution. Now, the point is when we say America has an option of launching a limited strike, what does that mean? A limited strike is by them. But who is stopping Iran from increasing it both in intensity and in the quantum and making it a regional battle? Involve every other part. The Israel has enough ammunition to do that. So the issue is they will have to find a solution which is mutually acceptable to both of them. And I agree with Rajan that let's wait for the Thursday talks. But one thing I can tell you, the United States does not have any other option but to either make sure that all their demands are agreed to by the Iranians in some measure, even if they are not completely in a measure, so that he can show his face back home. Or else, having amassed so much, I hope we know how much it costs to maintain one aircraft carrier, one force in that ocean. It runs into
Absolutely.
millions per day, my dear. Shivani, millions per day. So having done so much, if you have to get back without having done anything to Iran and without having reached a solution which is a win-win or a win of sorts for both Israel and United States, I don't think they are going back. So my take, the chances of a possible I call it disaster, are very, very bright post Thursday. One. Second issue is that America should not make a mistake of under thinking that Iran is some another Venezuela or something. Iran's one big strength, what I feel, is its geography, is the mountains on the northern and the western, all around in the port side deep seas, and a peninsula, plateau in the middle. So there is very difficult possibility of any ground offensive. And if you don't do ground offensive, you know what it means to keep doing aerial bombardment. For last 5 years, the Russians are bombarding Ukraine, and Ukrainians are doing likewise to the Russians. It takes you nowhere. So you have to what's the difference between this and the Iraqi this thing? They had 4 lakh troops on ground. So it is not going to be easy. Iranians have enough ammunition. A lot of people may not agree with this, but enough ammunition to make sure that one of the big dads, either Abraham Lincoln or Gerald R. Ford, is harmed, even if it is not brought to the bottom of the sea. So even if that happens, it will be big humiliation for a real superpower of the world. So to my mind, come Thursday, and there will be an issue. They have Trump has given them 10 days of some kind of a warning. You recall what he had done in June 2025. That
Right.
time also he had said, I'll give you 10 days, 12 days, and the third day he comes and attacks. So there is the likelihood from my take is very bright. Shivani.
Right, sir. In fact,